The lecture hall of the Interstellar Academy was never silent for long. Species from across the Orion Arm filled the tiered seats, their murmurs a chorus of clicks, hisses, and electronic modulations. Today, however, the atmosphere held an edge. The topic of the lecture was applied xenopredatatory behavior, and the guest speaker was notorious. Professor Rilver, a towering predator from the Androthes system, entered with slow, deliberate steps. His talons clicked against the polished floor as he led something behind him on a reinforced chain. Gasps rippled through the hall. The beast that followed was enormous. 6 legs, armored scales, a maw lined with teeth that could shear metal. Its breath steamed in the cold air, and each exhale carried the faint coppery tang of blood. "Students," Rilver rumbled, his voice carrying an undertone that made prey species instinctively flinch. "Today, I demonstrate the behavior of the Carex, apex hunter of 3 worlds. Observe well. Survival may depend on it." The alien students shrank back, trembling appendages curling tight to their bodies. Notes were abandoned in favor of instinctive huddling. A few activated emergency pheromone calming sprays, unable to keep their fear in check. All except one. On the 4th row, sitting comfortably with one leg casually crossed over the other, was a human named Daniel Holt. He leaned on one elbow, studying the monster with the detached curiosity of someone examining a particularly large dog at a park. His expression was not fear, but faint amusement. The Carex snarled, eyes glowing amber, as it swept its gaze across the crowd. The predator's bulk radiated menace. Several students whimpered. Rilver allowed himself a satisfied grin. "You see, young scholars, even restrained, the Carex project's dominance. This is why civilizations fall when such predators are unleashed." Daniel raised his hand lazily. "Excuse me, Professor?" The hall went silent. No one interrupted Rilver. Not when his fangs were bared and his apex beast loomed nearby. The lecturer tilted his massive head, pupils narrowing. "Yes, human?" Daniel gestured at the beast. "Is it house-trained?" For a moment, the translator implants of a dozen species buzzed uncertainly, as if struggling to process the absurdity. The silence shattered when several students broke into nervous laughter, immediately choking it back when the Carex snapped its jaws. Rilver blinked, thrown off his rhythm. "House-trained?" "Yeah," Daniel continued with a straight face. "You know, does it go on the floor? Or do you have to take it outside like a dog?" A hiss of outrage swept through the non-human students. To compare the terror of 3-star systems to a pet was unthinkable. Yet Daniel didn't even seem aware he had committed a blasphemy of fear. The Carex lunged against its chain, claws screeching sparks off the floor. The hall erupted in panic. Several students bolted toward the exits, while others crouched low, covering sensory organs with trembling hands. Rilver struggled to maintain control of the chain, straining against the beast's sudden fury. "Daniel?" He leaned back unimpressed. "Wow. Someone needs obedience school." The Carex froze. Its nostrils flared, pulling in Daniel's scent. For the first time, hesitation flickered in its alien gaze. It had expected prey to scatter, to scream, to emit the intoxicating signals of terror. Instead, the human radiated the baffling calm of an apex predator who refused to acknowledge it as a threat. The stalemate stretched, until at last, with a rumble that sounded suspiciously like confusion, the Carex settled onto its haunches. Its massive tail thumped once against the ground, like a domesticated hound acknowledging another pack leader. The lecture hall was utterly silent. Professor Rilver's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "Impossible. The Carex does not submit. Not to any species." Daniel gave a half shrug. "Guess it just met someone scarier than itself." The beast's golden eyes never left the human. To the shock of every alien present, The Carex lowered its head in what could only be interpreted as submission. Rilver stared between his prized specimen and the human who had undone centuries of predatory conditioning with nothing more than flippant humor. For the first time in his long academic career, he had no words. Meanwhile, Daniel leaned forward, flashing a grin. "So, Professor, does this count as extra credit?" The hall erupted, not with fear this time, but with stunned, disbelieving laughter. For the aliens present, it was a moment etched forever in memory. The day a human turned the galaxy's most terrifying predator into something that looked suspiciously like a pet. And somewhere deep in its primitive brain, the Carex knew one truth. It would never bare its fangs at a human again.